I'm going to ask a question, and I want people to listen to me and explain something to me because it's a genuine question. And now it's Earth Day. Now, when you listen to these lefty, chai tea drinking, latte drink, Starbucks going liberals, even though I don't think many liberals are going to Starbucks these days because now they say it's racist, and but they all talk about only carbon tax. Carbon tax is the only way to save the earth. You all know that. I mean, you all know that. If you all watching on a Random Nation, you all know that. Watching on Facebook Live, the only solution these guys have is a carbon tax. But yet, I was actually at one of these environmental rallies once. And what I saw, I mean, when they were leaving, the place looked like, I'm not joking, it looked like a dump. These people were throwing trash all over the place. I mean, I saw one person pissing in a bush. I mean, it was a dump. I thought that I seen cleaner parks in Detroit than this. And I say to myself, the only thing y'all talk about is a carbon tax. Now, there's many technology. I mean, there is technology where we could use our plastic to to fix our roads. We have all this technology that mankind has created. Nobody has ever done it except for a select group of people around the world. And the only thing you fools can talk about is a carbon tax. And I've told you time and time and time again, a carbon tax is worse for the environment. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. A carbon tax would force companies. This would actually be better for companies because it would give them an excuse to move their company from Alberta and Saskatchewan and BC. Canadian companies that pay the carbon tax, well, they'll go to China, Venezuela, the Middle East, and all those places. And you know what I say? And that's it. And all the people who are working in Alberta and in Saskatchewan and all that, you'll be lying on the street doing nothing. And what happens when these companies move to these countries like China? They spew even more carbon into the atmosphere than they did when they were in Canada, because Canada and America, I mean, but mostly Canada, they have all these regulations whereby you can't emit so much CO2, you have to plant this many trees, yada, yada, yada. They move to China, my friends, they spew even more carbon. Have you ever seen what China looks like? China looks like, I've heard stories of people tell me that by the time they got back from China, they had to pick up smoking in order to keep their sanity. That's how polluted China is. And the reason it's like that is because we, the stupid Westerners, think up stupid ideas like the carbon tax. And they say, well, you want us to pay more taxes? We'll just move our company to China and we'll get a better worker who's not going to try and fight us up for better pay and more time off and this and that, and we'll be happy. I mean, that's what y'all are doing. That's why I say, Earth Day, my foot. Earth Day was a day that was created by liberals to say we're going to protect the environment, and I think personally the liberals have done more damage to the environment than the factory people. I mean, I put something on Facebook the other day saying that we could actually use our plastic, the same plastic that just got banned in Quebec, the same plastic that might get banned in British Columbia. The plastic that we use can actually rebuild and fix roads. It's better for the environment than throwing them away. And all this stuff, we don't do that. It's been proven to work by many scientists. We're not doing that. Earth Day's coming. Nobody knows it's Earth Day. I haven't heard anybody. I didn't know it was Earth Day until just now. I saw it on my computer, And I see no lights have been turned off. I don't see anything. I don't see any contribution. Every time liberals, when they have their little protests and their riots, I mean, they leave the parks and the towns that they riot and protest in more filthy than when they came. So I'm thinking to myself, you liberals are worse for the environment. You people who are creating this so-called Earth Day are worse for the environment than the factory people. You are. People like Leonardo DiCaprio and Mark Zuckerberg and George Soros and Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy Swiftfoot come out of a floozy Trudeau. Y'all riding around in private jets that spew so much CO2 into the atmosphere. And now you're trying to tell us, oh, don't drive cars. You got to carpool or take a bus or take a train or blah, blah, blah. I mean, you all are worse for the environment. So don't talk to me about Earth Day. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because the same people who are talking to me and you and everybody else about Earth Day, y'all are the people who are messing up the planet the most. I mean, look at China. Canada is not the one that's polluting the earth and destroying the CO2. Canada is not the one doing it. It's not Canada. It's not America either. But it's definitely not Canada. It's China. And probably India as well. But who is responsible for all of the jobs that are going to China? It's the liberals. Because they are the ones who are the globalists, and some conservatives too who are globalists, who like these terrible trade deals. So then as a result, all these jobs go overseas. But most importantly, they're the ones who are slapping carbon taxes on our people and on our jobs. And then the job people say, well, we ain't gonna pay no carbon tax. We will move to China and we will probably make more money than we did in Canada and America. Thanks for giving us the excuse. And then in the meantime, spew even more carbon into the atmosphere thanks to the lackadaisical regulations, environmental-wise, that China has in their country. So do not talk to me about Earth Day. Talk is cheap. I don't want to hear it because the same people who are... Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. I want someone to tell me I'm wrong. I dare someone to tell me I'm wrong because I know I'm not wrong. You know I'm not wrong. Let me tell you, the liberals are the ones... First of all, they talk so much crap. They pollute the environment just by talking alone with all the CO2 hot air coming out of their mouths. But second of all, the regulations and the plans that they have to try and curb this problem called global warming or climate change or whatever you want to call it. I mean, and another thing too, they say global warming. Now, I'm not one of these climate deniers people. I'm not saying I am. I'm not saying I'm not. What I am saying is that the globalists and the people who talk about climate change and global warming are macking you. They are macking you, people. I mean, back in the 1970s, before I was even born, there was something called global cooling. Now, that was the big thing. Global cooling. Then sometime around the 90s and the 2000s with Al Gore, the attention whore, and he comes out with his inconvenient truth, which I call an inconvenient lie. He says, now there's global warming, and in 2012, all the ice caps are going to be gone, all the polar bears are going to be dead, all the moose are going to be dead, Canada's going to be washed away, all the Canadians are going to be washed away, never to be heard from again. And actually, there are some scientists who are proving that there is more ice that's growing in Antarctica. The ice caps aren't going away. I'm not saying that I'm a denier or anything, but now they've come out with the word climate change. And if you ever say global warming again, I mean, you could lose your job now. So that's why I'm saying these people can't make up their mind. They are macking us, and I'm sick of it. So don't talk to me about Earth Day. I could take care of the planet better than these establishment liberal politicians always trying to harp on about climate change and global warming and all that stuff. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, tell me I'm wrong. Where's global warming now? Where's the term global warming? It's gone now. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. You can't say that anymore. And Al Gore can't say that anymore either. And now he's come out with a sequel to Inconvenient Truth because everything in that movie, in the first one, has been debunked. So instead of putting in a carbon tax, my friends, a carbon tax, which would actually make the environment even worse, what we need to do is this. We say to these companies, now listen here, Enbridge, listen here, TransCanada, listen here, Texaco, listen here, Standard Oil, and all you, and listen here, all the, and nobody wants to say this, but I'm going to say it. Listen here, all you Arab oil people. Nobody wants to talk about the Arabs in the Middle East who are drilling and shipping the oil through tankers, but they are going ready to rip up the Canadian who's building a simple pipeline in his own country, but nobody wants to talk about the Arab. Listen here. You need to plant at least one tree every single year. That is the first thing. Trees are good for sucking in carbon dioxide. You don't have to do what Brad Wall is spending billions on carbon capture. The trees will capture the carbon. That's what trees do. God has given us the answer to climate change. We're just not smart enough to take it. But plant a tree once a year. That's the first thing. Number two, you tell all these logging companies that chop down trees every single day to make paper and to make all this sort of stuff. For every tree you chop down, you have to replant 2 in its place. I guarantee you, my friends, you'll hear no more problems about the climate again. You will see no more problems once you do that. I'm telling you the truth. And stop forcing jobs to go to China. And one way we can do that is to stop this whole carbon tax. We should make it illegal. Anybody who even mentions a carbon tax should be locked up. Number one, it's a con. Number two, it's ineffective and it actually makes the problem worse by sending jobs to China and Venezuela and all these countries. That's what will change it. That's what will solve it. So you all are blaming the Enbridge and Suncor and TransCanada and all these people. You like to attack your own. This is another reason why Canada is a country without honor, because they are ready to attack their own when it comes to this. Their own companies. They are ready to tear them up. They are ready to protest them. They are ready to throw stones at their headquarters. But nobody wants to talk about the Muslim and the Chinese people who are polluting our planet very badly, and the people chopping down the Amazon who aren't replanting any of the trees. Nobody wants to talk about, but they just are so obsessed with chopping down our own people. We need to bring back honor back to this country. But that's my plan to stop this problem with the environment. I'm telling you, you do exactly what I say, you'll hear no more problems about the environment again. But it won't happen. The politicians don't want it to happen because they want your money, my friends. They want your money. They're not interested in the environment. You think the Mac Daddy's interested in the environment? The environment. He wants your money. Environment. And he knows the carbon tax won't work. He wants your money. Remember Patrick Brown, that guy in Ontario who's, I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know. I think he's shining shoes by now. His political career is over. He was going to use the carbon tax to pay for all of his promises. I thought the carbon tax was only going to be used to fix the environment. I guess now that was a lie. So it's a big lie. It's a big con. So don't talk to me about Earth Day. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about Earth Day. I want to remind everybody that you can get your Arana Nation t-shirts by clicking on the link at the top of the comment section of this very video. As for the Facebook Live viewers, I will be posting a link on the comment section of that video on Facebook Live. And for those of you watching on the Arana Nation, Have a good night. God bless. Boom shakalaka. This is the Arana Nation.